Good day. In this discourse, I want to talk about gender difference and gender conflict. Now, while discussing with people and observing life in general, I come to observe that whenever there is any problem, be it social, interpersonal, or relationship problem, a great majority of women tend to blame men for all the problems in that relationship or in that thing. Then, a great majority of men tend to blame women for the problems. Now, this is a very disastrous way of looking at life. Because the truth is, for any problem that crops up anywhere, be it relationship, be it marriage, be it friendship, be it even social problem, the two genders there have equal rights in sharing the blame. When something happens and you fix blame, automatically that blinds you to your own contribution towards that problem. So I think that the way out for us, because right now with the growing trend of feminism and the increased expectation of masculinism, there's a lot of tension in our society today, all over the world. There's a change in paradigm. There's a change in the algorithm that runs our social life. There's a change in so many things. And to the best of my knowledge, this change is actually very destructive because a lot of us are beginning to see the other gender as an enemy. And this is counterproductive because right now it has affected families so much. So I think the beginning of maturity with respect to gender issues is that we have to see ourselves as contributing 50% of the problem. Then we solve the problems of society as a team, not as we against them. Because like feminism, a great majority of feminists are just haters. They hate men. And feminism has become an attack on men. To counter this, men are increasing their aggression with masculinism. I see a lot of content creators talking about feminism from different perspectives. You see a lot of women, some supporting the men, some castigating the women, some are neutral. Those are the ones I like listening to. So, we have a problem. Humanity has a problem. Mankind has a serious problem now. And that problem is gender balance. There's no balance amongst the gender. Now, if I try to analyze feminism to an extent, yes, there's a need for there's a need for a kind of balance, social balance. Let me use that word, social balance. There's a need for balance in a sense that if women have come to realize that the way men are handling them is not right, there's always a method to discuss something with somebody amicably. There's always a way to solve problems. But what I see is a lot of women, first, they deprive men of everything that a man is supposed to have, or everything that society has ascribed to a man as benefit of having a woman in his life. Then in addition to depriving the man of that thing, they now increase the expectation they want from the man. And forcefully trying to logically force the man into obeying them. This only creates more tension. I think that this is the wrong way of approaching feminism. If as a person, as a woman, You find out that a man treats you bad. Nothing stops you from defining your boundaries, and if he chooses not to respect the boundaries, you ostracize him out of your life, whether it's a marriage, it's a relationship, or whatever. You maintain your sanity. But depriving a man that, like some women, it's no longer their responsibility to cook for their man, can't wash his clothes, even to take care of the kids is somebody else's responsibility. Now, the question sometimes some men will want to ask is, what is your role in my life? Now, for the men, yes, a lot of men have been harsh on women. Let me use that word, harsh. I'm sorry if it sounds harsh or if it sounds rude, but the method that men have been using to deal with women or to interact with women, modern day life has come to let us understand that this is not very constructive, as it affects the mental health of women. So I think there's a need for change in the male approach towards dealing with women. But in between this male and female thing, I think we need to understand that we did not create it like this. Society created it for us hundreds of thousands of years before today. What do I mean? I think in the past, I'm not talking of 500 years BC or 1000, I'm talking of maybe 10,000 years BC. When men lived a tough life in the caves and all that, it was men who went out to protect the family. I believe that's the origin of how men became the protectors and women became the home developers. It's something that traveled through the generation. And one truth is, when a man goes out and does a lot of things, he becomes tough. Like in the ancient time, a lot of people didn't, even during the Roman wars and all that, a lot of people did not know about post-traumatic stress that soldiers go through. So imagine what soldiers who went to war in the 12th, 13th century or during the Roman times or before Christ, imagine how they would have behaved at home. They would have been dreaded. There was nothing like psychology as at then to understand that this man is going through crisis, through stress. And most of these actions toughen up the men. So men have been groomed by a poisonous pedagogy, a poisonous way of upbringing that has brought us to this level. And I think that when women understand this fact that we didn't create ourselves like this, it now serves as a guide for us to begin to come to the round table. That round table is a man and a woman has to come together, sit down. If you're in a relationship with a man, if you're in a relationship with a woman, if you're in a relationship with people, maybe your neighbors, your friends, your associates, your colleagues, and people are all around you, you have to come to that round table and discuss. This, I don't really like it. This, okay, if you do it this way, it'll become better for me. In this case, communication, effective communication comes to play. That's a talk for another day, but it has to be learned. Because if you can't communicate very well with somebody, chances are you will not achieve the result you need. Communication involves a lot of thinking. So we need to learn to communicate to each other so that we can bridge this gap. Because the rate at which we're going, there will be a dangerous catastrophe. It's going to be catastrophic for humanity in the future. Because right now, a lot of men are no longer interested in marriage. A lot of women are no longer interested in marriage. The rate of divorce in some countries is 60%, 70% within the first 3 or 5 years of marriage. And you see somebody has gone through 3, 4, 5 divorces. The question is, what is wrong with us? Something is wrong. So let's come to the round table, sit down and talk about ourselves, understand ourselves, and know that we're different. And as different people, we speak different languages. Okay? Get to the round table in your friendship. Get to the round table in your marriage. get to the round table in everything you do. Okay? Cheers. Good day. In this discourse, I want to talk about gender difference and gender conflict. Now, while discussing with people and observing life in general, I come to